Hello everyone, my name is Clara and I've recently gone on a 40-day solo backpacking trip around Europe. Solo travel is becoming increasingly popular for people of all ages from all over the world, so today I'd like to share some of my experiences with you. To me, solo travel is an experience investment. From the moment that you decide to go on a trip, you're investing your time and money into an experience that you'll have for the rest of your life. Solo travel can be divided into 3 stages. 1. The pre-travel planning stage. 2. The actual traveling stage. 3. The post-travel reflection stage. I'm going to be going through these 3 different stages, weaving in the things that I've learned and experienced, along with some additional tips and information that you can consider when you travel alone. Feel free to download my solo travel preparation package and follow along with the video as we go through the 3 stages of solo travel. As you can tell by the title, the pre-travel planning stage consists of all the basic planning that happens prior to you taking off. The amount of time and effort that we put into planning differs from person to person. You could be more spontaneous when it comes to traveling, or you might like to thoroughly plan. Regardless, some planning prior to traveling is necessary, and I've divided the pre-traveling planning stage into 6 steps. 1. Itinerary. 2. Packing. 3. Accommodation. 4. Transportation. 5. Safety. 6. Finances. Your itinerary basically consists of where to go, what to do once you get there, and how long to stay for. These are very personal decisions that depend on each traveler's circumstances. Some want their trips to be one that is culturally immersive. Some may want it to be a time for inward reflection. Others may just want to have fun and enjoy their time in a new place. All this choice is quite lovely, but it can feel overwhelming when there are so many choices and you need to be making every single one of them. If you're the type of person that just wants to roam around as a free soul, you can skip over this section, but if you love to plan things out, keep watching. I'm going to use the itinerary section in my solo travel preparation package to get a rough outline of what my trip is going to look like. You're free to pause this video as I go along and fill in the sections with me. I want to start my trip in London, England. I'm arriving on October 7th and leaving October 12th, and I'm going to look up some things to do in London. Ta-da! You can stop here and just refer to it once you get to your destination, or if you want to plan a bit further, you can go through the list and put a star beside the things that you want to prioritize. Once you get a feel for the things that you mainly want to do, you can plan by location. I use Google Maps to save places by starring them, and then that way you can see clusters of all the places that you want to go to. For example, I would do one day of hitting all the museums here by Hyde Park, and another day I'd go to Sky Gardens, maybe one of the bridges here, the Globe Theatre, and the Tate Modern. Planning is awesome because it gives us structure, but we still want to remain flexible because a lot can happen on our trip. Packing is another major part of the pre-travel planning stage. Packing lists will differ from person to person, and again, it's all about context. Your packing list will look very different if you're going to Sweden for a week in the winter versus Thailand for 2 months in the summer. The packing list section of my travel prep package has some different sections to consider when you're making your own packing list. We have clothes, toiletries, health and safety, technology on the first page, and on the second page we have documents, home preparations, and miscellaneous. Clothes and toiletries are pretty self-explanatory, but there is a comprehensive list of everything I packed if you want some reference. Health includes everything from vaccinations, medications, feminine hygiene products, a neck pillow, and a water bottle for your physical health. But it also encompasses your mental and emotional health, so it can include things like a journal, a book, and maybe some music that you want to download. Safety can be a keychain alarm, a lock, or purchasing travel insurance beforehand. Technology is also pretty self-explanatory, but some key items that I found to be pretty helpful were portable chargers and adapters. Documents include passports, visas, and student ID cards if you're a student. Home preparations apply mostly if you live alone, so making sure you unplug different appliances, emptying your fridge, paying your rent ahead of time, and finding someone to take care of your plants. Miscellaneous items can include a small sewing kit, duct tape, a Ziploc container, and some plastic utensils, laundry soap, umbrellas, a plastic bag for dirty laundry, and things like that. Now, where are you going to put all of this? It's really up to you whether you want to pack a suitcase or a backpack, but just be mindful of the fact that not all grounds are suitcase friendly. Some important factors to consider when packing and just traveling in general are the facilities and infrastructures that exist in your travel destination, the primary language that's spoken, and the cultural and societal norms to respect in the places you visit. You have to find a place to sleep. For solo travelers, hostels are an affordable way to not only sleep, shower, and sometimes even eat, but also to meet new people from all over the world. Sites like hostelworld.com and booking.com are great platforms to explore your options. There are some important pieces of information you should make note of when you're booking accommodations, so the accommodation section of my package lists some of these points. Some of the details that I looked for were if they offered free meals like breakfast, or if they had a kitchen to cook in, any bedbug reports in the reviews, the proximity to the places on my itinerary, and if I needed to pay any deposits beforehand. In terms of getting around, you can walk, take the bus, train, tram, boat, or even fly. You can usually find the price of the fares online, and Google Maps is, again, a great resource to use in a lot of locations. When you have internet, you can actually download an offline version of Google Maps, which is great for navigating when you don't have any internet connection. Feel free to use the transportation section of the package to jot down some different travel routes and ways to get around. Do be mindful of the environmental impacts that your transportation method has, and feel free to explore different ways of getting around. The most important part of traveling is safety. Our realities with safety may differ depending on our age, gender identity, sexuality, race or ethnicity, country of origin, language abilities, and even the socioeconomic status or background that we come from. Take all these diverse factors into consideration and ensure that you're making safe choices wherever you are. Consider buying some travel insurance, making paper copies of important documents, researching the laws and norms of the places you're visiting, reading up or watching videos of other travelers who have visited your travel destination, establishing a method of consistent communication with friends or family back home, and having an extra credit card or some extra cash on hand. Finally, the finances. We all have different amounts that we can and want to invest into our travels. Therefore, our budgets will mostly dictate what our trip is going to look like. If you're quite flexible with how much you're able to spend, then this may not really apply to you, but for those who have a stricter budget, it's best to do some research beforehand and set yourself a realistic amount for transportation, accommodation, food, activities, shopping, and maybe even a bit for emergencies. There's a space to write down the cost of things on almost all of the different sections in my travel prep package, so that can be a good starting point on getting a sense of your budget. That's my quick rundown on the pre-travel planning stage. Don't forget that the purpose of planning is just a preparation for the actual traveling part. This is where the real adventure starts. We can thoroughly plan our itineraries, purchase the newest travel gear, and read all the travel guides, but one thing to look out for when we're on the road is our well-being. As a solo traveler, you'll face a lot of challenges along the way. One aspect that you might not think about is your traveling pace. It is extremely important to pace yourself, especially if you're looking to travel for a longer period of time. Experiment with how much you can realistically fit into a day and still feel energized to do it all over again the next day. It will take time to figure it all out, so have lots of patience with yourself and just take it day by day. Another aspect is your physical health. It's very normal to get sick while you travel, so prepare to take some days off to rest and take any medications that you may need for a cold or an upset stomach. Again, be proactive and make it a priority to always eat well and sleep well when you're traveling. In addition to physical health, we can't forget about mental and emotional health. As a solo traveler, you have to deal with solitude and feelings of loneliness. You might feel homesick, unmotivated, depressed, or even anxious as you travel, but this is all normal. We can come with very high expectations, and when we don't feel like we're on cloud 9 all the time, we may even feel a little guilty. But find ways to sit with and accept any and all emotions that you feel, and find healthy ways to cope. You can talk to family and friends back home, write in a journal, and of course, talk to other travelers about all that's in your mind. I promise that a lot of travelers will be in the same boat as you. All in all, the actual traveling stage is what we're all here for. These are the days that you'll experience and remember, so take in every moment. Once you return home, you'll be coming back as a new person, shaped by all the experiences you accumulated during your travels. The post-travel reflection stage really has no end. You'll naturally begin to settle into your familiar and normal life, and as you go on living, there will be days when the subliminal things from your travels come to find you. Solo travel is much more than the videos that you see on Instagram or YouTube. Traveling alone takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of self-discipline to trudge through the streets of cities that you have never set foot on before. It takes a lot to stay curious and to keep exploring. You're going to make some mistakes along the way. The weather won't cooperate with your travel plans. There will be some weird people you meet. And gosh, on some days, you're going to ask yourself over and over again, what am I doing here? But traveling alone is an experience like no other. Once you come back from taking a solo trip, I am positive that you'll be able to relate to me on how rewarding the experience has been. I'll leave you with a quote that I read just before my trip from a book by Michael Harris. Real growth, real coming of age demands such unbending, a loosening of borders, both the borders of our home and the borders of our identity, if only so that we may better understand where we come from. In plainer words, not till we are lost can we hope to be found.